Hey, I'm Sean Callagy of Callagy Law. Something that comes up all the time with people in my own family and people I meet is, I hate lawyers. So first of all, I don't define myself as a lawyer. I don't meet people and go, hey, what do you do? I don't go, hey, I'm a lawyer. I actually say, I own a law firm and I do other things as well. I'm also a certified coach. Why do I say that? Because the legal profession very justifiably has a horrendous reputation in some places, and it's quite unjustified in other areas. And it's something that I think about and deal with, quite often. So let's talk about lying in the law. It's not okay to lie. And I think one of the greatest issues in the entire legal profession is the fact that lawyers and witnesses commit perjury every single day. There's an ethical canon that's called candor to the tribunal. That means that there's an ethical responsibility to be candid with the tribunal. And yes, your duty of loyalty is to your client, but there's a corollary ethical obligation to be candid to the tribunal. This is a plea to the entire legal profession, as we're out there, and judges and the ethics committees. The ethics committees are going to watch these videos at some point and scrutinize everything I'm saying. If I'm making unjustified claims and all this stuff, I think that respectfully is nuts, right? What I think that is the number one problem that we have in the legal profession is lying in cases where people are under oath that are driving up litigation costs, creating unnecessary outcomes in cases, having the entire country in every state have so little confidence in our legal profession, and it's rooted in that one problem, which is called lying. And I've dealt with two massive litigations with some of the biggest liars as adversaries and defendants that have resulted in two top 100 national jury verdicts. And yes, I just said that the adversaries were liars, and they were. They were lying regularly in both cases. Not every single adversary, but a number of the adversaries, the primary adversaries, in inconceivable ways. And the great frustration that I have is there are laws about perjury and ethical canons about candid to the tribunal, and it's when the judiciary turns a blind eye and they bury it. In that $27 million case in Arizona, we put an issue in front of the state court where we showed there was completely legitimate claims of insurance fraud going on that was relevant. The court did nothing and turned a blind eye. That's outrageous that happens. And it's even outrageous that as I sit in this chair, I probably have to be a little bit uncomfortable about whether or not I'm committing an ethical violation by saying what I just said. It's outrageous. So people can lie, the other side can lie. They created all these lying certifications. It was routinely and continuously pointed out to the court, but I have to be nervous if I say that those things were lies. Well, you know what? I don't really care, because I'll fight that fight to the US Supreme Court if somebody wants to, because I want to make the legal profession better, and so should you. So when you're dealing with people that are lying, say that it's a lie. Don't have your lawyer lie. And when the other side is lying, if your lawyer doesn't care about it and is refusing to point these issues out to the court strategically at the appropriate times, you're with the wrong lawyer. And we've all accepted as attorneys, and this is something we have to change, we've all accepted that this is a normal, continuous, ongoing, accepted piece of our legal system, and quite frankly, it runs right into Congress. It's nuts. It's not okay to lie, and it's certainly not okay to lie under oath, and that's why it's criminalized. And unfortunately, it only becomes a weaponized, politicized issue when people want to attack somebody. Every day, people should be taken to task on perjury laws. And it should be stopped, people should be afraid about it, and the candor to tribunal principles should be advanced at a much greater level. Now, other people say, well, that's going to chill the entire legal profession. Well, let it be chilled. Let's litigate these issues about who's lying, who's not. And then people say, well, we're going to open a Pandora's box of additional issues. Well, that's fine. Let's open that Pandora's box instead of right now having it be that the lying lawyers have an advantage over the truth tellers. It can't be that way in our legal system, that somebody has to take it all the way to, who hates lies and who hits liars? Juries. And it can't be that everybody has to wait until they get to a jury. It has to be that lying is not okay at any point in the process. So that's how I feel about why people don't like lawyers. But conversely, a lot of times people get frustrated about legal fees, for example. And unfortunately, a lot of times legal fees are driven by the lying and unreasonableness of the adversary. Now, what we as lawyers need to do a much better job of is educating people on what drives costs, in having sort of alternative fee arrangements, maybe contingent fees, flat fees, hybrid contingent fee relationships with our clients. But please, huge issue that's heavy on my heart is that I think a lot of times clients don't understand how much effort and work it goes into, like in those 2 top 100 jury verdicts I talked about, to prove that people are lying. I spent months working on that case in my basement to figure out how to bring out lies in these depositions that a lot of people would have seen as innocuous and not have seen, that really drove the entire case. So on the flip side of all this is, please understand that if you're going to have zealous, passionate, authentic advocacy, you have the absolute right to know how long things are going to take, but please also understand that things take massively long. Just think of yourself. If you're going to stand up for 8 hours and do a presentation in front of somebody at some point, how long would you need to prepare? And if you're going to have exhibits and documents, how much preparation would that take? So bottom line is, let's drive out lying in the legal profession. Let's call out liars. I hope that perjury laws will be enforced at a 100x level. Candid tribunal principles will as well, but also that people understand what it takes to authentically and truly prepare, but also the commensurate responsibility of the legal profession to get that information to our clients so they understand what it is at every step along the way. I'm Sean Callagy. Please call us with any legal question you have at 201-261-1700. We're trying to fundamentally change the way people feel about the legal profession, first by demystifying it, because there is way too many mysteries about what all this is, way too much standing on form over substance. We're not operating at the turn of the century. It's a very different world now. We live in a world of authenticity where people say all kinds of things and we stand on form and circumstance that lets liars get away with way too much. Please give me a call, 212-661-1700. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Pass, share, all that good stuff. Like, comment, tell us what you want to see, tell us what you need. Let's get that message out there. Let's make our country better, our legal system better, and let's drain the swamp on both sides. That wasn't a political comment, on both sides. The institutionalized, generational people serving in Congress is also a destructive element to the fabric of our nation, no matter if you're on the left or the right or where you stand. I'm Sean Callagy, Callagy Law. Thank you.